What are we doing?
I don't know. I was just seeing if people
we
thought
both just did that. We can see each other while the thing is going. I don't know if anyone uses StreamYard, but we can see each other down at the bottom. And I did that, and then Jeff did that, and then we came on screen, and I had no idea what to do or say. And Jeff usually speaks first, but I think he's a little rusty. So everyone, please be kind to Jeff tonight. He hasn't been here for 2 weeks. Let him get back into the swing of things.
I haven't even caught up with you. I haven't even talked to you. It's just like,
I know you've been ignoring me. I've been trying to call you all week.
You did call me earlier today. Yeah,
I called you earlier today and a few days ago because I have Energon Universe ratio variants, and I want to see if you need any of them. Well, but hold on. You haven't answered my phone call, so maybe I'll just throw them in the trash can or poop on them or something.
First of all, you're lying. Second of all,
no, I'm not. I'm really not lying. I bought a collection.
Well, let's talk. I got your number. Anyways, it's great to be back. It was a very busy week for me personally, with work and a lot of other things. And I'm just happy to be here with you, Joseph, with the Honorable De La Torre, and of course, the Schefter of the canon, and Josh's comics. You know, we haven't talked about what our legal the dispute has been lately. I don't think I'd like to say I'd like to keep it like, let's just have a great show tonight.
Yeah, we're going to try to push through this. We're still, battling, court appearances and stuff like that.
It's
all the legal stuff behind the scenes. We don't want to put that on all of you.
No, it's really awkward. You guys paid money to watch this show. We are going to deliver. You know what I mean? We are. Giving suggestion or something?
No, I said I said we're going to keep it comics here, and I just said it again. And every time you say that line, "keep it comics," you owe Very Gary $1. He has that line. I'm pretty sure he's got it copyrighted. He says it at the end of all his YouTube videos.
Well, you know what? Low grade is better than no grade, as we know, is yours. And Dan De La Torre did say that. I'm not sure what the. Anyways, this is getting a bit out of hand. So what we like to do now actually is discuss something that's happening this week that I'm very excited about, and millions of other people are as well.
Yes.
I guarantee the 15 million people that are watching right now are very excited that what?
What? Yeah. Am I supposed to answer this?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the convention that's next weekend?
No. We're talking about the fact that I'm going to be purchasing a new wardrobe. Just kidding. No, we're talking about the fact that Deadpool Wolverine comes out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do have tickets already to this. I'm going to be going on Thursday night, opening night, with the gang, the peeps, the crew. And we're going to check that movie out. And, hopefully, as people have been saying, it's going to save the MCU. Not that I think the MCU needs.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's a silly thing. But I think it's going to be a great movie. I think it's going to be potentially the second ever R-rated movie to break $1 billion.
Yeah.
Joker was the only R-rated movie in history to break $1 billion.
I'll put $1 billion down that it's going to break $1 billion. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel any sort of way because we all know you don't have anywhere near $1 billion.
Anyways,
because you live in your parents' basement.
There's nothing wrong with that, first off. Second off, we have 17 million people watching right now that want us to continue to move on with the show because we are not the main attractions anymore. Our good friend, pal, and editor of news for Comic Book Canon brings us the news at the top of the show. This show is no different. But before we do, let us know if you guys are seeing Deadpool and Wolverine this weekend in the comments. Get that engagement going. It only makes us look better, like people engage with us or something like that. I will be seeing it with the person I am engaged to, my fiance Alicia, on Friday morning. If anybody wants to come along, please let me know.
I can't wait to text you spoilers all Thursday night.
I will drop kick you through that door right there. I swear. Anyways, please welcome everybody. Good friend and editor of news of Comic Book Canon, Josh from Josh's Comics. Hello, sir.
Hello, people. I'm invisible halfway and not all the way.
It's very weird. This is a weird start to the show. Very low energy. A lot of technical glitches with you kind of disappearing in the background there, which looks real, but it's really not. And of course, Dan De La Torre is drinking water backstage. Oh, almost caught him. Bye, Dan. Anyways, moving on here. We have some news to discuss. It's been a heavy news week. It's not even San Diego Comic-Con yet. That's reserved for next week. But we're already hearing things. Obviously, it's coming out from the press junkets with Deadpool and Wolverine.
You bet.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I said you bet.
No, you bet, because you're delivering on this news. So let's just get started into it. So it's not starting off with Marvel news. What are we talking about first?
So, couple days ago, beginning of the week, DC revealed the new Absolute Universe, which is co-written by Scott Snyder, who did the amazing New 52 run on Batman, and Joshua Williamson, who also is writing, who wrote Superman. And the DCU Absolute Universe is kind of like a clean slate for those who want to jump into the storylines, have a good time. You don't need to really know about any current lines that are going on, and you can jump in at any point. I've got to say, I am not the biggest fan of the designs of our three characters right here, though. I don't know. I mean, maybe the writing will save it, but right now, the art as is, I don't know. It's not too gripping my attention.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different take. It's a different take on things. Marvel has done the Ultimate Universe, and is actually now redoing the Ultimate Universe, and that had pretty much, pretty good results for Marvel. DC has had New 52. That was their, hard reboot of the entire universe, and some of those titles really landed. Some of them are really, really good. Josh, you mentioned Batman, Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing as well. And I was just talking earlier with Danny about Red Hood and the Outlaws. Great run from that kind of flies under the radar. This is, just another, reboot, and maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. It's time to give it a try. Yes, it does look like Rob Liefeld. It's very 90s. The musculature of the characters, the complete lack of, anatomy on Batman there. It does look a little Liefeldy. But yeah, I mean, let's give it a chance. To me, I care about the art, but when it comes to the comics, like the writing has to be on point. Like even with really, really good art, if the writing's bad, it ain't for me. When the art is not my style, or it's not a style that I enjoy, I can deal with it as long as the story is really good. So that's my 2 cents on it. Wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, my 2 cents would be that obviously this is the response to the Ultimate line from Marvel. So they're calling it the Absolute. So what I wanted to do was see the true definitions of Ultimate and Absolute. Ultimate, the best achievable or imaginable of its kind. Now, going with that, basically Marvel is saying that this Ultimate line is better than the original lines. Am I right? Is that fair to say? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
And then we have Absolute. There's a few ways we can go here. Not qualified or diminished in any way. Total. Viewed or existing independently and not in relation to other things, not relative or comparative. So basically, it is this. A value or principle which is regarded as universally valid or which may be viewed without relation to other things. So nothing really compares to it. So yet again, it's distinguishing itself by saying this is the absolute line. Forget about that other line. Kind of. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Either way, it's following along with different types of origins. I think I read up upon Batman being he doesn't have the money that Bruce Wayne does in the what are we calling it in the Prime universe for DC? I don't know. So Batman is kind of he's scrappy in this version. I think Superman is more ambiguous if he's good or bad. And Wonder Woman, there's no Amazon or anything like that. So her origins are not rooted in that mythology. So
right.
I'm interested. I do like the idea of hopping on point, because I feel like with Ultimate Spider-Man, for example, it's the essence of Spider-Man. They just hit it on the head. Even though Ben Reilly's still alive and there's a lot of other changes, I just love it. So anyways, that's my take on it. Do with it what you will, gentlemen.
Sure. Check it out. If it's not for you, that's all right. It will be eliminated eventually. They'll eventually go back. I'm sure this isn't going to be some continued thing for decades.
We'll get a reboot. We'll get another reboot. Yeah. The 1700 reboot of the DC universe again.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we'll see how this goes. By the way, I just want to point out Caleb Leland, good friend of the show. He's happy to be here tonight. He got bad news because he looks like he has to have hip surgery. Listen, our thoughts are with you. You will get through that. You are a young guy, and nothing will stop you. You have all of our positive vibes going to you into that hip, which should either repair it or make sure that's a successful hip surgery. Moving on, though, I want to promise you guys something. The audience out here, the next 3 news stories will be Marvel related. Please take it away, Schefter.
So, my good friend, my mentor, I would call him, Kevin Feige. I like to call him. That's how me and him go back.
You guys got nicknames for each other?
Well, he calls me, Double J, the J-ster, the Prodigy, but Kevin has been on a rampage the last couple of days. They're doing all the press interviews for Deadpool and Wolverine, and he's kind of spoiling stuff. Well, I don't say spoiling stuff, but he's kind of like disannouncing stuff that probably was going to be announced next week. But like, hell with it, right? Let's ride with it. So he recently just announced or confirmed that a Richard Rider Nova show is in the works for the MCU. I'm happy about this. I can't wait to see what happens. I kind of wish Nova would have been. Well, we got hinted at that Nova kind of might have already been in the MCU from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. I kind of wish he would have been introduced before Endgame and would have helped out towards the end of Endgame. But I guess we're going to have to see him play a different role in the future. So, yeah, I'm happy with this decision. And, it's going to be a show, which is interesting. I was kind of thinking maybe a solo movie, but doing a show maybe would be better. You could do some backstory, then you can go to the present, and then go back and tell more and get people more invested in the characters. So yeah, I'm happy with this.
Yeah. There's certainly been mention of, I think, was it the Nova Corps was mentioned in the original Captain Marvel movie.
Yes,
that was the first, and there's been other things that have been references.
Yes, that's my roommate.
Okay, I hope she's not planning to hurt you. Anyways,
no. If you see a knife come around to my throat, just take me out of the screen and we'll deal with it.
All right, we'll do.
Oh my god, yeah. So anyway, this is great. I mean, it expands the cosmic side of things. Not my favorite part of the Marvel universe. I'm definitely a more terrestrial, street level kind of fan, but I understand people love the cosmic stuff, and Richard Rider opens up some doors here.
For sure. I'm interested to see how this comes about because there's nobody in Xandar left. You know what I mean? Based off of what is it? Endgame. I think it was Endgame. I'm quite excited. And yes, they did mention before about a Nova show, but I think Feige specifically said that it would be Sam Alexander and Richard Rider. So maybe that plan is still there, but it's just interesting. He's bringing this up a week before Comic-Con, which they're smart. Their marketing team is very smart, and they are talking about the things they can talk about right now. But I think they're really going to kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm setting ourselves up here for disappointment, but I think they're going to blow our minds next week.
I promise you right now, from what I'm hearing about San Diego Comic-Con, so they're doing 2 halls. They're going to do a Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously. They're going to do one strictly for Marvel. And from what I'm hearing, I think we're going to have a ton of news to talk about the next month. And like I said, I feel like there was, I don't know if you heard, there was a recent leak where somebody leaked into the database and stole tons of not just Marvel, but other Disney IPs and news. So stuff is out there on the internet. So I kind of think it's also where they're going to jump a little bit ahead and also ride the momentum, get people more excited, get people, especially with Wolverine and Deadpool coming out. The MCU's back; it's always been there, but yeah, so it's going to be exciting and a lot to come. But we're not done with Marvel, Jeff.
No, we are not. Please tell us more.
So, surprisingly, again, another big kind of announcement happened in the last Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that released, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. And a character I knew was returning, but I did not think that they were going to actually put it in the trailer. And so take it away, Jeff. Put a picture up. So Daphne Kane.
Daphne
Kane. She originally played X-23 in Logan, did a phenomenal job, and she is back as X-23 in the trailer, and she looks exactly like X-23 in the comics now, even older, and I'm so excited for this because the possibilities, and I'm hoping that isn't a one-off. I'm hoping that, Hugh might come back for a couple more films, but maybe she will take on the mantle and run with it until eventually they decide to reboot or do whatever they want to do. But I think seeing her, and then we're going to see her more in the movie, I think she could do a good run at it. And I would love to see the X-23 Wolverine in the future for the MCU.
Yeah, I mentioned this probably well over a year ago at this point. I kind of called this one, at least as far as what the rumors confirm, is that they would use Daphne Keane as the new Wolverine. Just the reason that I initially had that idea is it is so hard to recast someone like Hugh Jackman. It's dang near impossible. He just did such a good job. He has been in the role of that character through three different Batman, coming up on two Superman now, 3 different Spider-Man, and a Miles in there too.
That's crazy to think about. Yeah, wow.
Right. What, 2001 was the first X-Men movie, and he's still going at it over 20 years later. It's so hard to replace him. So why not avoid replacing him? Why not just give the mantle over to X-23, and Logan can make some appearances. There's nothing stopping from them, bringing back a retired Wolverine. Maybe they'll kill him off. Maybe they won't. We'll wait and see. I think it's a great idea. I'm all for it. I'm for that more than I am for a recast.
I love the thought there. I think it makes it's an easier transition, but one that I think fans will like, because Logan is near and dear to all of our hearts. She was fantastic in it, even though she was like 12 or something. So I'm very excited. And again, it was interesting with that trailer was more heartfelt than it was Deadpool, if you know what I mean. Like, because I just went back and watched Deadpool yesterday, and I just forgot how there's a lot of heart in the first film. A lot of heart. It's not just poop jokes and him looking at camera going, you know what I mean? Breaking the fourth wall. So I don't know. I'm very excited about this revelation. I think a lot of other people are too. And I cannot wait, because honestly, that's probably not even close. And our Schefter here probably knows all of the spoilers of the film, but that's probably not even close to what we got going on and what we're going to experience coming up this week.
Look, we're going to have a group chat. So here's my problem. When Joe said he's going with the boys, I'm not included because of the legal troubles, of course. Right. So we can't be seen, hanging out. I'll probably be going Friday night myself, but we're all going to have to be in a group chat afterwards, and we're going to have to talk, because I don't know how we're going to do the show next weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're not going to do. We'll maybe we can do like a simple review. We won't have to do spoilers, but yeah, it's going to be a rough week. And I'm going to caution you guys this now. I heard tomorrow on Monday night they're doing a screening of it, actually out in Los Angeles, I think. Somewhere they're doing a first official screening,
and maybe the world premiere actually.
Whether it's a world premiere or if it's not, I'm just going to say probably come Tuesday morning. Try to avoid the internet. Stay off the internet. Yep. Yeah, there will most likely be up until Friday night. or Friday when you guys.
That's why I only have a flip phone and don't understand technology.
That's why you live in your mom's basement and you don't have hair because
my mom runs the dial-up internet situation here. Okay, but here's the deal. Also, we're going to need to discuss during the week. Are we going to have a Comic-Con kind of special next week? Because we don't know what we're in for in terms of the news, so we got to talk about that.
We will.
Josh, you're flying out there when? Thursday, Wednesday?
Probably.
Okay, to cover, yes. Well, the
canon probably he doesn't know.
I gotta look at my schedule, man.
You need to check your email because the Canon's travel department has already sent you your tickets, your per diem, and your hotel accommodation.
I had when I flew to Japan, Jeff. I had to do my own accommodations. I couldn't even get a bottle of Fuji water, Jeff.
Anyways, it looks like we have the mutant phase. All right, I'll unmute him right now. Sorry, Josh. We just wanted to avoid any other sticky situations in front of everybody.
Listen, let's just first of all, Kevin also just confirmed this at the press conference or interview that he's doing for Deadpool and Wolverine, but I think it's kind of been known, and that's that the next era of the MCU is the Mutants era, which will start with Deadpool and Wolverine. So right now we're in the multiverse era, I guess you would say, but Deadpool and Wolverine starting from here on out, more mutants are going to come in, and eventually we're going to get an all-mutant phase. What that means, in my opinion, is eventually we're going to see more X-Men movies, shows. I would even love to see a potential Avengers versus X-Men.
Interesting you ask that, because we may have to have an Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh. Somebody, Caleb Leland, put in a question for Josh, so maybe we'll bring you in for that segment as well. All right, as I promised, those three news pieces, those news stories are all related to Marvel. Yes. But the next one's not. It's just very broad in general, comics in general. Go for it.
Yeah, this is actually a nice one. I kind of was surprised. So PSA, which is a professional sports authenticator, is adding a comic book grading division in early 2025. Great news, I think. It's more options to get your comics graded, and we'll see how it works out. Not the biggest fan of the way, as you obviously can see, how it's going to look in a slab. But hey, I mean, this might be a whole new market, and we'll have to see what happens.
For sure. I'd love to hear Joe's take on this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have Magic the Gathering cards that are graded by PSA. I've used them for that before. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that it's something that's going to take a while. Companies need to stand out. Companies need to be able to get people's attention in order to outclass their competition. Specifically, let's be real, CGC is the main competition. I don't see PSA doing this. I don't think their label, at least the label that they showed, it just looks exactly like the card label. Yeah, the red border, the white, very plain looking, not a lot of color. To me, that actually just looks like a trading card size cover of, Hulk 181. That being said, if they do stuff to outclass, certainly they could pull some of the market. I see this possibly more with the people that may like bridging the gap essentially between the sports card collectors and the comic collectors, people that collect both. The multi collectible group may be into that just because maybe they're familiar with, I grade my cards with PSA. Okay, let's sports cards, whatever it may be, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. I grade this with PSA, so let's get my comics graded that way. I can see them pulling in people that way, but they're really going to have to distinguish themselves. And I recently heard someone asking, do you think that they could possibly take the place of CGC? I mean, it's certainly possible. I can't say that it's not, but at the same time, it's not something that would happen in a year or 5 years or probably even 10 years. It would take a significant amount of time for that many people in the community to overtake the main company that's doing things, especially when you're doing what I assume to be the exact same thing.
That's for sure. And here's the deal too. Everybody has a head start, including EGS, who does stand out, and we'll get you all know why they stand out because we get the customizable labels. It's a true grading service for the collector, the person who loves their collectibles. So they just look like, what is it, PGX? Is that, you know what I mean? Like who has a head start of over them, which is like probably the lowest of on the list.
Right. My 2 cents is that this probably is going to kick PGX completely out of the running. Not that they really are in it, but I expect that company to cease services in the next probably year or two. I don't.
PGX still in? They still running? Like
I'm pretty sure, man. I haven't heard that they closed down shop. I think they are. So maybe I could be wrong about that, but I also think that this will affect CBCS more than it will affect CGC.
That's a good point.
That's
a good point. And with Tony, good friend and proud partner of Fresh from the Comic Shop. Everybody give EGS a follow. I think they will have some impact as CGC has with cards, which is mediocre at best. Meaning that CGC doing cards wasn't their forte, and PSA doing comics not their forte, but again, mediocre at best. So, and Tony did confirm that PGX is still around, but you're right. Probably it'll eat away at CBCS and PGX because they don't stand out. They really don't.
No. If they hit the ground running here, I could see them capping over CBCS in the next couple years. I could see that happening. CGC, I don't think they have a shot at overcoming that.
I think they would definitely need to do a logo or a slab, make it look a little bit different, a little bit better. Because it's gonna look just like the sports cards, like Joe said. I'm not like, it just looks blend to me. Like there's no, you know what I mean?
Let's bring in the honorable Dan De La Torre, who's not on the bench right now. He's actually got a question as a viewer in regards to this PSA. Mr. De La Torre, honorable De La Torre, please.
Gentlemen, a couple of things. Joe, first of all, are you friends with David from Comic Book Investments? He's got another YouTube channel.
I'm familiar with him. I don't know him personally, though.
You know him personally. He's on vacation. I watch his show. He's actually a pretty smart fellow. He mentioned that he helped set up the whole thing with PSA, and he'll be explaining later what he did to sort of guide them along to get them, to get them off the ground regarding what a slabbing company should be.
Interesting.
I see a number of things going on here. One is that a company as big as PSA wouldn't jump in the market unless they saw that they could get substantial market share. They're a big company. They've got deep pockets. I actually like their label. Why? Because that's their signature label. Everyone recognizes that's a PSA label. That's probably where they're going to start. They may have other labels down the road. But here's the thing. Ever since Blackstone purchased CGC rather. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry. I got to send an apology letter to Tony now. No, ever since they paid $500 million to CGC, bought them out. That is not a small chunk of change. They did that because they knew they were going to make a ton of money in return. PSA sees the same thing, and again, they're jumping in to take a huge market share. They could. But there's a number of things that haven't happened and may happen yet. One, we all thought that once CGC started making changes and making a ton of mistakes ever since that purchase, CBCS was the likely company to start gaining a ton of market share. They never did. They, for whatever reason, spun their wheels. They don't have the marketing or the idea or whatever. So they're still a very, very distant second. And to a lesser tier is PGX and EGS. We're still in the market, by the way, but you can't knock down the big boy. PSA does have that ability to do so. It won't happen overnight, but it could take a number of years. So let's see how they are this time next year. But the other thing to keep in mind is that the company Blackstone is the big key here. They are a vulture capitalist company. They have a reputation of going into companies, buying them up, squeezing as much money out of that situation or that market as possible, and then tossing the husk aside once it's all dried out. Now, they may still do that after, I don't know, a year or two. It's not impossible to think that if that market dwindles or that market dries up, Blackstone will drop them in a second. They don't have a love for comics. They could care less about United. This is strictly business.
Right.
That's 100% business. And so there is a possibility, and PSA may see this, that at some point Blackstone may abandon ship. And again, there's lots of other companies they want to go to make money. This is just their latest stepping stone. And if that happens, CGC could drop like a rock. And who would be there to pick up the pieces? PSA. They've got the money for it. They are big. They could begin to build a network and a following and a trust. And right now they have a clean slate. Right now, CGC has this horrible reputation for the last couple of years of all kinds of problems. PSA doesn't have any of those. Even in the card market, they're a pretty pristine outfit. They're pretty sharp. They're pretty on top of things. I haven't heard anything substantial regarding PSA. So these are things, down the road, and even further down the road, as I kind of climb further on this branch of speculation. What would you do if CGC closes its doors? What happens when there's no more CGC? And you've got all these slabs. You're tied into that market, buying and selling through CGC, and it's gone. These other companies, including EGS, could gain some market share. Again, this is a year or two down the road. I've talked to Tony a number of times from EGS. He kind of sees this. I mean, he's in it for the long haul. He thinks there's an opportunity here. That's why he's sticking it out. Even PGX, and to answer Josh's question, PGX is still in business, believe it or not. They never bothered to clean up their reputation, but they still get people sending in slabs. I don't know why. So again, this could be, a year or two down the road, a huge game changer, and it could all start right here.
Yeah, and Tony just mentioned something really important, that it does not really matter unless PSA is able to get top dollar. That is one of the biggest struggles. That is one of the biggest struggles of why companies, and Tony knows this firsthand, the fact that other slab companies do not get the same amount for the same grades on the same books on the secondary market. That's just how it's been. We as buyers are the ones that could potentially change this, but it's going to take a shift in a lot of people in order to make that change. So, I mean, if PSA gives people what they want, there's a potential.
To that, let me leave you with this example. Who remembers Atari? Atari was a gigantic dynamo. You couldn't stop them. This is back in the late 70s when the video game industry was taking off. Atari was this gigantic monstrosity no one could bring down except for this little company that no one knew about at the time called Nintendo. Yeah. Nintendo started with a different market share, a different idea, and now they still are the dominant, or one of the dominant names in the video game industry. It's not impossible that CGC, it could end its heyday in a year or two.
That's so fascinating, because as outlandish as it, like, my first reaction is outlandish, and out of all the four of you guys, or four of us, I'm less inclined to slab. I'm less inclined to buy slabs. I'll slab every once in a while, but like the four of you guys, are leaving open the door of this possibility. It boggles my mind, because what you said at first, Dan, I'm like, that's ridiculous, but you brought up some tangible examples. Yeah. And it's very interesting to see what could happen here.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating.
And this is one of those time will tell things. This is not, these situations are never immediately, okay, PGS. What am I saying? PSA opens their door, they start giving submissions, and suddenly everything changes. This is something that is only going to take an extensive process over at least years, if not potentially decades, to make a deep enough change in the market. I don't see, like I said before, I don't see, even with the absolute best outcome, PSA overtaking CGC anytime in the next 5 years. And I don't even really see it happening in the next 10 years. It is going to be a gradual thing if it does happen.
That's true. One last thing, though, that at the very least, what I'm hoping out of this is that PSA becomes the second most powerful or biggest kid on the block regarding CGC, because that's what we were all hoping for with CBCS, which never happened. It's still 100. It's 90% dominated by CGC. That's always a mistake in any market. You want to have competition and viable competition. Right now, there is no viable competition. CBCS is a very, very distant second, maybe 8% of the market, if that. Everything else is CGC, and that's wrong. And that's also for any market, that's dangerous.
I think
Josh,
your sink is on. Your sink is on. Do not let it flood.
Hold on 1 second, Josh. Sorry.
Put it on your life preserver.
All right, Josh, go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean you. There's background
yeah,
noise.
it's fine, man. I honestly think Dan's got a good point. I think in a couple years, it says like they're starting in early 2025. I'd be interested to see how the first couple of months go. But you know what? In a year or two, I mean, we could be looking at pretty much just PSA and CGC going head to head, and then perhaps maybe CBCS and PGX, and maybe might combine. But yeah, I think PSA is going to definitely rise up there, but it's hard to see what's going to happen with CGC. But who knows? In the future, we might have to all switch to PSA. We'll have to see.
Or we'll have to slab our own books ourselves and say this is what we think it is. So that's probably where we're headed. Anyway,
I'm actually going to ship all my stuff to Australia and get Halo to grade it.
There you go. Perfect. That makes a lot of sense. This conversation is to be continued for sure, not in this episode of the Canon, but down the line, actually, no doubt about that.
Jeff, Jeff, it is actually going to be continued in this episode of the Canon because I was told that there will be an Ask Joe question specifically about PSA. So we'll come back to it maybe in a little bit.
Okay. Well, until then, we're going to let the Honorable De La Torre get to his legal proceedings. He has a few cases on the docket before we get to Fresh from the Comic Shop. I don't know what that means, but he's threatening us. So I think
he's not muted anymore. I think he thought he was still muted.
So looking forward to that. And now comes the part where we move from the tangible news, right? To something a little less tangible. And we like to preface this by these are just rumors, not spoilers. Josh will spoil stuff at his channel, which the link is down below, I do believe. But again, we have a nice little graphic where it states what's going on. Am I right, Joe?
You are correct there, sir.
It's Josh's rumor report, and we don't have a jingle. We apologize for
Josh's rumor report.
That's it.
Dang. Those pipes. I'm loving it.
Okay. Well, look.
Voice of an angel. Josh, let's get into it right now. This news segment, as we knew.
Hold up. Something just came to me. Something just came to me on the fly. Who's got the rumors? Josh got the rumors. Who's got the rumors? Josh. Who's got the rumors? Josh got the rumors. Who's got the rumors? Josh.
Yo.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We're going to come back to this.
I'm going to get my tambourine for next.
That's freaking fantastic right there. Who's got the rumors?
Great.
Josh got the
All right, let's get into rumors. This one is a surprise that just dropped, and I'm kind of all for it. So Glenn Plow, who has been in Twisters, he has starred in Top Gun, and he has kind of taken Hollywood by storm. He just recently started following both James Gunn and Andy Mashett, who is directing our Batman Brave and the Bold film. Could we potentially be looking at our Bruce Wayne, our next Batman, inside of Glenn?
Now, I'd like to ask both of you a question. Actually, I'm going to throw it to Joe right now. Can we get away from the day and age where we start speculating based off of people and who they follow? Is that a possibility? Please answer.
I honestly think that it's a good tell. I mean, the fact that him and James Gunn started following each other recently, they'll probably be working on something together. I don't think James Gunn is working on anything outside of the DC universe, given the role that he's been given. So, whether it is just some initial talk, some interest, or it's a confirmed role at this point, we don't know until there's an announcement. But I don't think that speculating that the possible relationship there is a brewing.
Okay, Josh, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I feel like this day and age right now, knowing that he just started following those two, and rumor going around that they're looking to start filming the film next year and they're starting to get production up and running. I know you probably first dropping news here, but I just, man, I love this idea and I'm up for it. I feel like it's a good way to take a guess, and who knows, maybe Gunn just followed them because he likes both of them. But come on, why would he follow both the director and the creator of this all new universe?
That's a good point. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, I'm the curmudgeon, but I do want to say here, I do want to point something out that Shelby, Joe's wife, enjoys the segment, the rumor report. She loves the gossip. Can we just say you're spilling the tea a little bit here? Is that a possibility? Can we use that phrase for your segment?
Josh is spilling the tea.
I mean, hey, listen, anything that the people like, they can have. You know what I mean?
Oh, snap. You may regret that. All right, moving on to the next.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on, real quick. So what do you guys think about Glenn possibly being Batman?
I like this guy. Like, he is up and coming. I mean, not up, he's there, but he has been prominent in a lot of roles. Obviously, Top Gun was huge. He has a series that he actually, I think, helped develop called Hitman on Netflix. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's fantastic.
It's a show or a movie. My bad. Yeah, it was great.
Twister. He is really starting to be a big face in Hollywood.
Backdraft.
I didn't know he was in that.
They just announced that he's going to be starring in a remake of Backdraft from the 1997 Kurt Russell movie.
Interesting. Okay, but yeah, I'm good with this. I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I haven't seen anything that he's in, so I can't really weigh in on him as an actor. I can just weigh in on the fact that I really like Robert Pattinson as Batman, and that's all I have to say about that.
Sorry, but
it's two separate universes. Joe, we're still
I
know.
It's two separate universes. I would love
to see. Here's the thing: I don't want to have if Matt Reeves is did an amazing job with the Batman. Let him do his own thing. Elseworlds, let him knock it out of the park, and then I hope James and Andy can do the same thing with their version and knock it out, and we got two great versions. And hey, you know what? Infinite Crisis on Earth or whatever can always happen. Maybe in the future, who knows?
Who knows? Again, because we have multi-universal things happening in everything these days. It's like the hot thing to cover, even outside of comic book properties. Dark Matter is one of them on Apple TV. Highly recommend. Joshua, let's move on to that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just say, let's move. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Yeah. Let's go. Why not?
So,
I'm talking over you all the time. We have no coordination today. I am terrible.
Thank you. Listen, me and you should do the show. So,
all right, we'll talk about that for a little bit.
Russo brothers are in talks to direct Avengers 5 and Secret Wars. That's currently the rumor going around. I really hope this is the case. There's a lot of directors that I think are. I think if you're a director, you're pretty much your name's going to be in the mix if you've had a lot of big hits. But this is something that I hope ends up becoming true because. Between their Captain America films and the last two Avenger films they did, they know how to assemble big teams. They know how to give love to every character that's on the screen and make big battles and set pieces go together. I would love to see them come back and direct the next two big Avenger films.
Yeah, I agree. These guys did my two favorite MCU. No, get out of here, dude. He keeps trying to get himself back in. They did my two favorite MCU movies. We got Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War. And they also did Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, which, those are kind of the consensus two best movies. In my opinion, they're not, but, I understand why people put those at the top of their list. So why not let them brew up some more? Why? I see no reason why it wouldn't be a good idea. Literally whatever they're asking for money wise, give it to them. Dan, how's your sandwich, man?
It's an apple.
Oh, it's an apple. Okay.
I'm eating healthy these days. I've lost 30 pounds.
All right, cool. Nice. Hey, kudos to Dan, but we got to kick you off because I was just curious. I was seeing it at the bottom and I'm in charge of things now because Jeff is Jeff. Nope. He's off now again. Oh no. Poor guy. He's going to really hate me after
Feelings
this
are
one.
hurt.
Get out of here, dude. Come on, keep kicking him out. Anyway, yeah, let's hear Jeff. Jeff, what are you thinking about the Russo brothers here?
I love it. They can balance a movie with a ton of characters, with a ton of weaving storylines.
Mhm.
I just want, and I know it's taking a risk. I know it's going to be, it'll be a fan favorite if they are brought back, but I just take a risk and have somebody new come in who is as much in love with these properties, and maybe they produce, they produce and have their hands, get their hands dirty in terms of the creativity part of it, but not fully directing it. That's my thought.
Yeah, no, that's a good point as well. Consulting, executive producer. They give that line to people. No one really knows what that means. I'm pretty sure that even people in Hollywood don't know what that means.
Producing is a very broad term in general.
Yeah.
Me as a producer can definitely speak to that. Executive producing could mean like you are Brad Pitt and you brought George Clooney in on a film, and boom, you got the executive producer role because you got George Clooney. But in terms of these guys that they know comics, they know these characters, having them oversee a younger director, an up-and-coming director on something like this would be amazing.
I tell you what's amazing to think is that these guys came from directing Arrested Development on TV. And
Great
like
job.
you would like, no, great job, but like if you would have went back to like when that show was being made and you would have told me in the future they were going to make some of the best comic book movies ever, I wouldn't believe you. I will throw in this too. The other part of this rumor that I probably should put in is that if they end up getting directing duties from here on out, the next whatever movies and shows that will be coming out before Avengers 5 and in between that and Secret Wars, they will be kind of taking charge and giving notes and changing things up a bit to do their version. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I agree with Jeff. I wouldn't mind them producing. I think I wouldn't, like I said, it's a safe bet to have them come back. They'll knock it out of the park. But I kind of would like to see some young blood, and maybe somebody could come along and do it just as good, but maybe add a little something that they couldn't do and make it even a little bit better.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad, and I think that speaks for all three of us here, and maybe Dan as well. But at the same time, I think just bringing some new ideas, something different to the fold. All right. And
speaking of new ideas, we got one more thing. Jeff, I'm kind of like you're kind of slow tonight. You're sluggish.
I am. I'm out of practice.
Me and Joe really had a thing going last week, and man, thank you, Joe. All right, so now we're gonna get.
I didn't do that. Jeff picked himself. He understands when he's not wanted. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, look, we love you, Jeff, but sorry, buddy. So going on to the last rumor of the night. I kind of love this. I know, Joe, you said something to me about it earlier in the week. But Robert Downey Jr. has always been talked about ever since Endgame about returning. He said at first he didn't want to. Now he's saying maybe he would like to return. He could do some different things. And I know we're all up for it. But what if Robert Downey Jr. could return and would become our Dr. Doom in the MCU? How about that, people? Take it, flip it around. What if Tony comes back? What if Robert Downey Jr. comes back as maybe a superior Iron Man and maybe transitions into a Dr. Doom version of Iron Man? I think that would really hit it out of the park, and I would be up for that.
I'm not. I don't. I think that this is one of those things, Josh, and I know you gather the rumors, and this is a rumor that is going around, but I think that it is all that it is a straight up rumor. I don't think there's any thought of this actually happening. It doesn't make any sense. I love Robert Downey Jr. as an actor. There's no reason why he should be Doom. There's just zero reason whatsoever.
But he would be he wouldn't be the Doom. He would be a variant Doom.
But we haven't even had Doom yet. So why would we have a variant Doom? I'm not sold on this. I think it is completely, this one is completely just clickbait. Someone made this up to get, views and clicks and likes and comments and stuff.
I don't see the need for this either. If Robert Downey Jr. were to come back, it should be in his iconic role that started the kickstarted the whole MCU in some capacity, not saying he's returning, not saying he's coming back to life and going to be, you know, part of the greater MCU again, but something that's nostalgic that helps move the story along, not just to do it just for fans' sake, but as Doom, no, we want to see a proper Doom. We want to see the Victor Von Doom we deserve because we haven't.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for San Diego Comic-Con, people, because you might just have that wish come true.
Ooh.
Well,
Josh,
we're going to have more news next week, a lot more news.
So
And the three of us need to discuss how we're going to handle this. Do we give Josh his own special? I have no idea. I don't know what to do, but it's something we need to talk further about.
We might have to start an hour earlier.
I'm late, though. I probably won't make it till 8.
Okay, that's fine. Me and Joe can start. Jeff, we listen. I love you, man.
I'm joking. I would make that happen. It's a special weekend for all of us.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but me and Joe, we worked out a system, Jeff. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. Maybe times are changing here at the Canon.
Just want to bring that image in right there.
Dan turned into a shield from eating an apple.
All right.
Nice.
Well done there, Schefter the Cannon. We appreciate you greatly. We're going to have more news to talk about next week. That is for sure. But until then, we're going to have you come back because you're sitting by the phone, you're working the phones, you're figuring out what the next hot story is, and we appreciate you greatly. Just make
sure. Is there an Ask Josh question I heard?
There is. So just be on the ready, please. Thank you very much.
I'll be here. Good
day, sir. Wow. Okay. That segment, as we thought, took an hour right there.
We gotta let's bust through the Ask Joe today. Like, we're gonna go rapid fire round so we can get to fresh from the comic shop and I can go to sleep before midnight tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one.
While we say hello to these wonderful people, I'm gonna just remind everyone real quick to put the Ask Joe questions, or Jeff and Josh, maybe Dan too, who knows. Put your questions in the chat. Hashtag Ask Joe CBC and Jeff. And we'll get to them as soon as possible. We'll run through them. And we've got a couple. I believe we are skipping a live question this week, but there are some that people mentioned to me. So put them in the chat. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and say hello to the people?
Yeah, let's say hello to these fine people. We're going to start off with Goonish Lurker, which is actually a CTA. Call to action right here. Hey, everybody, next Saturday is Comic Book Christmas in July. Bring any of your age-appropriate comics to your neighborhood little libraries to give away for the next generation of comic book readers. Everybody, please make sure to do that. Goonish, I think you're going to put a post up, and we'll be sure to spread the word on that. So, Goonish Lurker in the house. We have, who else do we have? We have Brian Klotz, feats of strength at the cannon. I mean, look at those guns. I mean, come on. Feats of strength at the cannon. We got Caleb Leland, a.k.a. Cable Leland. Yes, Josh does sometimes bring the comedy. Sometimes. Alexia thinks that Josh brings the comedy sometimes as well. We got Pope at Chili Town. They have to give the rest of the Fantastic Forecast next week. They're about to shoot. Yeah, they're actually shooting the day after Comic-Con. So we're going to know who Doom is, I would say. And it's not going to be Robert Downey Jr. I would love John Hamm. I think Caleb Leland put that in there as well. Should they go for a lesser known actor for Doom? Sure. If the guy can carry the role, absolutely. We have the Honorable Dan De La Torre in the house. Downey Jr. will not take on this role. We both agree to that. Tishu does not want Robert Downey Jr. as well. I just want to point out that words do hurt, Joe. Just wanted to point that out. Okay. We have, who else do we have? Who else? Alexia George, I said hello, but I'll say it again. Lots of fun people in the chat here. We got Shelby, aka Dr. Frankenstein, in the house, who loves when Josh spills the tea. We got Bond. Paul Bond. That was loving some jazz hands from Josh. Who else? Kaboom Comics. I'm loving the EGS labels that match the book. Absolutely. That is the customizable label. So that is fun. Who else? We got Tony in the house, proud sponsor of Fresh from the Comic Shop, alongside Spider Dude Comics. Links are down below. Y'all better follow. Joseph, I think that may be it. I mean, we got a lot of fun people here. We got Gordon Vidal. Uphill battle overcoming CGC's dominance in comics with collectors who prefer CGC graded books to anyone. I mean, they do have again, they're leading the race because they've been out further. They were one of the first ones to start. So yeah. The Naked Truth loves the CBCS cases. Gotta try EGS though. Gotta try the EGS. Raw Dog Comics in the house. The New Mutants would be well, actually, no, they tried that. I haven't seen that movie. Have you, Joe?
Oh, dude, it's so good.
It is good. Okay, I'm gonna try and see.
I love it. Yeah, it's horror themed.
And I think that's about it for all of these fine people. Actually, we got a lot of chat going. It's really hard to scroll through. Jordan Nori in the house. Nikita Kare in the house. Great show tonight, everybody. Thanks. Put your questions in the comments here for a segment we do. But before we get there, again, we love the community. Ceci Lutz is from. I think I see the colors of Mexico. Maybe I just don't know what that flag is. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Either way, here we go, Joe. We're gonna do a fun community segment that we do each and every week. All of you love it so much because we get to learn more about you. Again, we are the most popular show on YouTube, the most popular live show. We are which makes us the most popular comic book show on YouTube. And we celebrate this community. That's what the show is all about. And we wanted to take it a step further by doing a segment called Popcorn, which is a corporate speak for when you're in a meeting, you're going to popcorn over to somebody else, take it on. So this week's popcorn segment is somebody who just started collecting comics. Very happy that she joined us. It is Spud Comics. Learn more.
Hello everyone, I am Lexi, aka Spud Comics. I am from Claymont, Delaware, and I was nominated by Dr. Plagueis. My first comic was actually two. I believe the first one was number 10 of Ren and Stimpy, the bubble bath cover, and my second one I still have, which is Death Jr. Amazing art, amazing story. Fun fact about me, if you could not tell, I am a Pokemon collector. It is one of two hobbies right next to comic books, and it brings me so much joy and happiness. I would love to say a big thank you to the comic community for being so incredibly kind to me. It blows my mind every day. On that note, I would love to nominate Broke Boy Comics. I think he is doing so many incredible things right now, and I would love to see more from him. So, thank you.
How well done was that? Very well done.
Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. Another Delaware in the house.
DE represent.
We got you and Josh. We got
Josh
Lexi.
from Newark, Lexi Claymont, me from Wilmington. I mean, come on. Let's get it going. Let's go. All right. Speaking of let's go, we do this segment each and every week. Again, to ask the guru himself, although you can't take that because somebody else has that. But what we do a segment. It's basically this. Ask Joe
and Jeff. And Jeff.
That's right. That's me, Joe and Jeff. So we do have some questions, Joe. Are you ready for them?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Okay. It's a good question. Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh, how many EGS slabs do you each have?
Great question. I currently own one EGS slab. It's in my personal collection. It's not going anywhere. I do have some stuff, both personal collection and stuff that I will be selling that I have been very slow to put together, but that will be going off pretty soon now that EGS is in their new location. So yeah, look out for some more soon. I'm sure I'll show them off on the Canon when they come in. I'm going to do a full order, probably, 15, 20, 25 books, whatever. Woo! Not just gonna be one or two. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice little bundle. Just gotta finish the pressing process and everything with that, and they'll be heading off.
Myself, I have two, and they're special books to me. That's what I send to EGS. Special books that mean something to me. First one, I think I brought this up before. I worked with Stanley a couple times, and while doing so, we discussed this series, right? This arc right here for the Amazing Spider-Man 96, 97, 98. Comics Code was taken off, and it started a whole big controversy. But Stan signed this one. I'm never getting rid of this one in my collection. And look what an amazing job. Yes, it's a 4.0. I don't care, though.
Sure.
Because it's in this slab here. I wasn't going to open it up and read it. I've read that story arc before. So that's my first one. And then this one is extremely special to me. It's my daughter's first comic book, Sally Soaphands and Lion Girl, Mystery of Captain Cold Hands. So yes, she produced her own comic book at the age of 6. So this is very special to me. So I have two. Josh, how many do you have?
I have one myself. I actually won it on the Fresh from the Comic Book Shop last year. It's a 9.6 Alex Ross Venom Timeless variant cover. So love it. I'm with Joe in the same boat that I have about a short box and a half of books that I want to send out, whether it be EGS or CGC. But yeah, I have a bunch that I would love to get sent out to them as well. And probably do the same thing. Maybe we'll do as they come in. We'll do our fresh gets live. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't bullshit here. We truly believe in this company, EGS.
Yeah.
I think they have the best cases, as well as just what they bring to the table. So Tony does a fantastic job. He's a member of the community. He has a small business. He is actually making gains in this, grading service. Kind of, can we call it the grading service war? Us being in the media, we kind of hype this up a little bit more than it should be.
The grading service war. They're trying to take down CGC, the conglomerate abomination. EGS is fighting for their life, but they got the great custom labels. PGX sucks ass in every way. Ignore them completely.
You remind me of somebody. He's very divisive, and I'm not going to say who.
What you gonna do, brothers, when EGS runs wild on you?
There we go. All right. Moving on to the next question, Joshua. That was fantastic.
I was trying for more of a J. Jonah Jameson than the actual person that you were thinking of, but
do you know who I'm thinking of?
Yeah. Is his name rhyme with Schmalik Schmones? Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right. Next one here. I can't really answer any questions, Alexia, until you tell us how you do the and Jeff so small. Like I can't. I appreciate you loving this. I half-assed launching a comic book related brand called CNGO. Right there. You can. I really haven't kept up with it. There's a ton of shirts that have cool phrases like this, and actually Josh has one, Joe has one. Very supportive, and you can go to
Jeff. What happened? You were doing that, and you were doing a great job with that, and then you decided to get engaged and build a shed instead. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, look, you can go to comicsnerdsgeekout.com and see all of the wonderful offerings that are on there. Maybe I'll try and pick it up again. It's a lot. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot. All right. But I appreciate you asking that question, Alexia. I definitely do. All right, moving on. We have good friend of the show and somebody who will stab you in the back any second he gets. Pope at Chili Town. Ask Joe CBC. Please explain in detail the entire history of the DC universe from Action 1 to today.
Okay. I can do this really easily. Let me tell you. So 1938. I almost said 1983. 1938. They both were before I was born, so they really don't. That time just doesn't matter. 1938. Schuster and Siegel create Superman. Fast forward. There's some movement. And now we're getting this absolute universe as well as the James Gunn universe. So a lot of things have happened, as you can tell, over the years. Hope everyone caught all that.
That was fantastic. I don't think anything interrupted that, but you hit every mark, every important mark. So I appreciate the knowledge because I learned some things with that. But thank you, Mike, for that expansive question. Here we go. Brian Klotz asked Joe and Jeff, what's the ideal number of letters in a comic grading company name? With PSA joining the EGS, PGX, and CGC, there's only one with 4 letters in CBCS, opening for one with 2 letters.
2 letters is hard because, like, 2 of the letters are like in all. I think most of them are grading company or something like that. So grading has to be part of it, obviously. Or like maybe you could change it instead of using grading, you like encapsulation. Like it could be
there you go.
It could be like the
why can't we just do the encapsulation company?
Ready for this one? I got a great one. Professional Encapsulation Service Society.
So PE.
Oh no! Oh, encapsulation is E. Damn it! I thought I was spelling piss.
Wow. Okay. Look, honestly, guys, if you make us think too much, we lose our train of thought. The show goes sideways. So please try and keep these questions simple for Joe.
I have to kick myself off the show for that.
Yeah, definitely. I would go for 6 letters at this point. Make it really hard and just make absolutely no sense. So
LMNOP.
C, B, comic book, G, S, F, U. Comic book grading service for you. That's 5.
For you. Good. It's gonna have the letter 4 or the.
Yeah.
God, I'm really.
Anyways, we're moving on here. We can't be made to look bad, everybody, and that's what you've done. Oh shoot, I still have this website up. Look at me trying to promote things and I don't even know it. Moving on, we got from our very own Josh's comments. Ask Joe and Jeff as well. When will we get 8x10s made of the Cannon Crew? Sign them and send them out to all our fans all over the world. Josh, here's the deal. We spend all of our marketing money, which this falls into the marketing, and Joe being our CMO, I'm just going to speak for him. All of our marketing money, we kind of allocated towards the Honorable De La Torre's his thing.
Retainer.
God, we are not smart tonight. So we got to build up that marketing capital right there, and I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do that. So let's all just kind of get in the meeting, the boardroom, maybe this week, and popcorn ideas around. Huh?
Sure.
We have another one for Brian. Ask Joe and Jeff who from the Canon has the best comic-related attire for wearing during the show. Wow.
Well, Jeff's got definitely the most because he's got all of the stuff he did for CNGO, as well as, probably some other shirts. I've got a bunch of stuff that I collect. Like I have a bunch of Spider-Man shirts. I also have a bunch of pre-code horror shirts as well because that's something that I really like to collect. I think Jeff wins though with the custom made, his own ideas. I dig long boxes. And what's the other ones you have? You have Fresh from the Comic Shop one that you did.
Yep. We got all of them. Just go to comicnerdsgeekout.com. Really good. Alicia my fiance hid the shirt for me for months. She loves it. And she said I lost it, but she was playing games. It almost cost us the engagement. Here we go. Niner Foxtrot. Ask the gents, anyone else collect Canadian price variants? It has emerged as my favorite little group.
Yeah, so I don't. I have a couple of them, whether they're stuff that I'm just going to sell eventually or, actual personal collection books. I have an ASM 252 Canadian price variant, which is probably the coolest one that I have because it's a, pretty big key. But yeah, I mean, they're cool. It's just not something that I collect. I like double covers. That's my weird thing that I collect. But yeah, Pope of Chilitown is into some of the price variant stuff. Specifically, he likes the Australian ones, which are even harder to find than the Canadian ones.
I'm going to be honest with you people. I am not interested in any price variants. So I don't.
Yo, I'm going to be real. You know what I thought you were about to say?
What?
I thought you were about to drop some real controversial takes right here and be like, I'm going to be honest with you people. I don't believe that the country of Canada exists. That's, for some reason, that's what I thought you were going to say.
America, bro. I mean, that is our land. Or something like that. I'm not doing that. Wow, we're starting to tread a little in waters we don't want to tread in.
Be careful, Jeff.
We have, hey, by the way, we have a live question. Why don't we just do that right now? Let's bring Josh back. Hello, Joshua.
Hello, gentlemen. And
Now,
ladies.
Josh, is this true that Avengers 5 will be Avengers versus X-Men?
My official comment on this is wait for San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, maybe we'll get some news.
Oh, what?
That's all I'm going to say. And we'll see what happens after San Diego Comic-Con.
Here's the deal. Without saying a lot, he has said a lot. You know what I mean? You follow?
Hey, it's 50-50. It's a flip of a coin.
By the way, Dan De La Torre said he would sign something for you, and that would be the years of prison time on his conviction paperwork. This is
snap.
Yeah, this is getting bad. All right, we'll see you later, buddy. All right, and right there, that ends the segment we call Ask Joe and Jeff. And Jeff, that's me. By the way, I love the phrase spilling the tea, and I love that Caleb is saying that Josh, you're my tea guy. So Josh spills the tea. Everybody follow Josh's comics. The link is down below. YouTube. He's going to start producing content that does have spoilers, that does go further into the rumors, etc., etc. So please make sure to check him out. All right, and here we are. I think we did a lot. We caught up pretty well, Joe. We caught up to the last segment of the evening.
We're good here, time-wise.
We're doing okay, and we actually got a lot of very happy with the submissions we got, because we are looking for that final slot to go up against in the second semifinals to move on to the finals. We got some good submissions here, but before we get into talking about that, what is the segment called?
I believe this segment, brought to you by Comic Book Canon, Sundays on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is referred to by no other name than Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Live from the pressing salon. That's right. We ask you, the fine viewers, to send in your fresh gets, and you do not disappoint. Fresh get could be 2 days old. It could be 30 years old, as long as it's fresh in your collection. We want to see it. You just upload it to the Instagram. You do the hashtag FFTCS, even though hashtags don't mean anything anymore. Make sure you tag Comic Book Canon in the picture so we see it, and it'll be in the show. Now, a lot of you do multiple submissions a week, but only one will make it. If you have a preference, let us know as soon as humanly possible. So, not only that, you can share. As with you sharing with the community, if that's not a win enough, you could actually win a monthly prize that makes its way into a yearly prize. Is that right, Joseph?
I think so. I mean, that's what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not in charge of the prize department. You are the CEO of prizes here at Comic Book Canon. So.
That's true. That's my official title, CEO of prizes. And this month, it's amazing because our sponsors, our proud partners in Fresh from the Comic Shop is EGS Comics. You got that link down below. Spider Dude Comics, you got that link down below. And they provided us what do the kids say? A banger, Joe? Is this a banger?
I believe banger.
Like a banger?
It's a banger, no cap.
What? Damn straight it is. Look at that gorgeous cover right there. That is July's book of the month. Swamp Thing issue number 15, the Charlie Adlard variant cover. Look at how again, this is you got your you know, what am I talking about? You got your customizable labels, you got all the good stuff. That's right, you get with EGS Comics. And you can also save 5% off your EGS order using the code CANON5. As we said, optional custom labels, free graders notes, and fast turnaround times. EGScomicsgrading.com. Follow those fine people down below. Now, with you guys submitting, think about 3 pieces of criteria. I think I'll do the first. Josh wants to do the second. I think he said the second.
No.
Are you
The
second?
third.
You want to do the third?
The
Got it.
third.
Okay. He wants to do the third. So I'll do the first. Let's go with these pieces of criteria. Keep this in mind when you send this in. Presentation. Take a wonderful picture of this book that you are sending in. Get creative with it. Give us some depth of field. Joe loves that phrase right there. Make sure you're shooting with great light. Do not shoot it in, some dingy basement that you live in your mom's house. You know what I mean, Joe? You don't, because you don't live with your mom.
I don't. No, I live in my own house. I'm big
your
boy.
own house now.
Don't. Just make sure no bathtubs. We just don't want any bathtubs involved, unless let's be real. If it has something to do with the book, we had that book earlier that Lexi had. It was a bubble bath.
That would be great.
We'll give you that one, but other than that, no bathtubs.
No bathtubs, please. Joe, go with our second piece of criteria that we like to have.
The second piece of criteria, I was thinking that we should ask people to give us something unique to look at. And Jeff, I think we can both agree here that unique doesn't necessarily mean that it's, I don't know, an arbitrary number here, $30,000. You don't need to have a $30,000. I don't have any $30,000 comic books. No. Jeff, you don't even have 30,000 cents. Let's be real. Yeah. But something unique can be a book that we've never seen before. Maybe something that's been lost to time, a golden age book, an indie book that is a lesser known one, a variant cover that we haven't seen yet, something that's a little bit more scarce. Maybe there's some original art on this comic book, doodled on, sketched on, remarked on by an artist or a writer or someone in the comic book community. Maybe just a signature. That'd be okay too. Maybe it has a double cover or some other type of error printing. We want to see something unique. That is the second criteria. And let's bring in Josh for criteria number 3.
So the third thing we're looking for is a story that can grab our attention, that can take us out of this universe and put us into another one. A story that can make us cry, laugh, make us angry, make us happy, make us fall in love, fall out of love. Listen, this is how I'm doing it, okay? From the heart. So, yeah, thank you, Jeff. Lay down. So, listen, I'm going to tell you guys this story. It's a true story. This happened to me. This was my life. In 1992, Batman the Adventures, or Batman the Animated Series was made. It aired on TV. Flash forward 2 years later, I was born in 1994. Flash forward probably another 5 or 6 years, and then I was walking with my parents down the street. I said to them, hey, I love the Batman Adventures. I would love to read it in comic book format. So you know what my dad said to me, Joe?
He said, Josh, get a job.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. He said, you know what, son? Let's go get you a Batman Adventures comic. So back in this time, it's the early 2000s. You had to look up a phone book. You had to call some numbers. You had to see if the places were still open. My father did not do technology. He didn't even know how to turn on a computer, okay? At the age of 50, he didn't even know how to turn on a computer, all right? So bear with me here. He calls up. He's calling. Half hour goes by. He's like, all right, me and your mom, we're going to take you to the comic book shop. My older brother decided to stay home. Now, we parked in this parking lot, but the only way to get to the comic book shop was we had to walk down this dark black alleyway called Murderer's Row. Jesus. Now, a Murderer's Row, yeah, I know what you're thinking. It sounds pretty bad. That's because it is, gentlemen. Murderers, bad people, people who steal things, you name it, they're down there. Now, we're walking down. It seems like forever. It's probably only a minute walk to get down through the alleyway to the front of the comic book shop. Right? I'm sitting there. I'm about 6, 7 years old. Me and my dad or my mom, we walk into the shop. We're greeted by one of the nicest guys ever. He says to me, how you doing, young fella? I said, I'm doing good, sir. And then he says back to me, let me tell you, if you're looking for comics, you've come to the right place.
Oh,
I
snap.
said, great. I'm looking for Batman Adventures. Do you have any? Well, I can certainly look into the back and try to see if I can find you some comic books of Batman Avengers. So he goes back, a couple minutes pass by, he comes back. Guess what he comes back with?
Batman Adventures.
Not just Batman Adventures, Batman Adventures #1.
Woo!
Okay? The first ever comic adaptation of Batman Adventures in comics. I'm excited. Man, I couldn't believe this. Walk up to the counter. So, kid, how would you like to pay for this comic? It's $1.95. Okay? So I look at my dad. My dad looks at me, and my dad says, so, son, are you going to pay for it with the job that you don't have? No, Dad, I don't have any money. So then my father says, okay. Oh, sorry. He says, okay, son, I will pay for it. But we pay for it. I'm excited, right? We're walking out of the store. I'm holding my Batman Adventures #1 close to my chest because we're going down Murderer's Row again, okay? We have to cross this dark black alleyway to get back to the other side to the parking lot. We get about halfway down the alleyway. Hey, let me see what you got in your hands there, kid. We all turn around. Me and my dad, my mom were looking. This guy in a trench coat comes up. He's like, hey, I need that Batman Adventures #1. And my dad slowly steps in front and says, well, sorry, sir, but you can't have this. It belongs to my son. You can go in the shop and probably get another one. This guy says, well, I can't because I was just in behind you guys. You didn't recognize me, but your son took the only copy left. And there's no Comic-Cons because this is like the early 2000s, and I probably can't find one on eBay right now. This is what this guy says. I could not believe it. So my dad looks down at me. He looks back at the guy. My dad says, get lost. So what do you think happens? This guy pulls out a Magnum.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I can't believe we're going here.
He shoots my dad.
Oh my God, Batman.
Oh, hold on. He shoots my dad. Then my mom looks at me and I look at her. And as this guy's going to reach in for the comic, she jumps in front of him and he shoots her too.
Oh my God, Josh's
By
origin
this
story
by
here.
this time,
You went there.
Police sirens are rolling. This guy freaks out. He runs. I'm standing there holding my Batman Adventures #1, looking around. My mom's gone. My dad is on his last couple of breaths. And he says to me, he says, son, don't be afraid. Save Martha. And then he dies.
Martha?
And then from there on out, gentlemen, for the rest of my life, I have this Batman Adventures #1 that is hidden in a chest inside my closet. And that's why every night I go out here in Newark, Delaware, and I search for anybody named Martha, and I try to save them in honor of my dad's final wishes.
Is anyone here named Martha? No, Martha? No, Martin? No, Martha.
No, I need Martha.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. Are you Martha, Joe? Or Jeff?
I have a question in my hand.
Go ahead.
So, again, fresh from the comic shop, this story that you just told for the past 20 minutes, the book was not fresh in your collection.
Well, no, it was fresh when I got it.
Oh my God. We are so sorry, everybody.
He tried his best. He wasn't afraid to make mistakes.
No, he was a risk taker for sure there, but I don't think it worked. I do want to ask, was your mom wearing a pearl necklace that kind of the guy grabbed by accident and the pearls dramatically fell on the wet ground?
I left that detail out, but yes.
Okay.
It was like as he shot, the necklace got caught around the back of the gun, and it shot and pulled the necklace off. And
okay. Anyways, well, that's a wonderful story. Glad you got your first comic book. Sorry that it cost your parents their lives for buying it, going down. Anyways. So yeah, there we go. Those are the three things we look for: presentation, unique book, and story pull at our heartstrings. We're going to get into it right now with your submission. Actually, before we get into it with your submissions, we want to remind everybody, oh yeah, the CNGO Fresh to the Comic Shop t-shirt, which I gave the link down below. And let's just remind everybody who has won the past 6 months, halfway through the year. Can you believe it, Joe? Unbelievable. January was Mike Haggs with this wonderful Secret War submission. February is Dr. Plagueis with this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. March, Mons Comics. Love this this Man-Thing submission right here, out in nature. April, we have Nukes Comics, outside the box here, thinking with the product placement too. He was not sponsored. May, we have Kaboom Comics with the Wolverine submission. The very subtle shadow looks like Wolverine's mask in the background right there. And June, wonderful submission right here. Super Crispy Comics. This is very unique right here because actually Kaboom Comics drew this for Super Crispy Comics, and Super Crispy submitted them. And right there, those should give you some good ideas as to what we look for and how you move forward and how you can win. And again, everybody who wins each month is going to be in the final tournament of 2020, the 2024 tournament for the big book of the year during March Madness of 2025. All right. Speaking of Josh's comics, it's along the same lines here. Look at this banger of a submission. This is a very good submission right here, Joe. I like making fun of Josh, but holy shit, this is beautiful.
Yeah, man, this is
Batman
good.
Adventures #1, first comic book series based on Batman the Animated Series. Earlier this week, the last ever time Kevin Conroy would voice Batman dropped. The scene is set in the Batman Adventures universe, where it all began in 1992. We see Batman throw Joker, then hold him and say, "If it was to end, at least I'd go out like this, being Batman." I can't do it. I can't do it. Me, a 30-year-old man.
Worst Batman impression.
Terrible. Me, a 30-year-old man, had legit tears falling from his face. Kevin has and always will be the voice of Batman. I wish I had a chance to meet and tell him how much he meant to my childhood. I also couldn't resist picking up this new Batman the Animated Series Batmobile that just released today. Kevin, I will always read Batman in your voice and continue to honor your memory. You touched so many lives, and I know we are better for having you grace us with your presence. My God, that hits. That terrible story he told, he could have just not said anything tonight, and this is just, I think he redeemed himself. That's a great submission, pulls at the heartstrings, great picture. Not quite a unique book, I would say, but still, it's 2 out of 3 right there. So that's how you do it, everybody. Well done indeed. Moving on, we got Goonish Lurker. While these aren't technically fresh in the comic shop, they're freshly signed from none other than Stephen Platt at the Denver Fan Expo a couple weeks ago. Bloodstrike #15 and Prophet #5, both of which have amazing covers, particularly the Prophet cover, which has some Easter eggs and is a wraparound cover with some familiar faces. I also picked up this rad Sabretooth and Wolverine print. Well done, Goonish. Joseph, your first fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Okay, my first fresh get of the week. So let's start off with this one. This came in a collection that I got, and I had never seen this before. And I'm going to kind of show you what it is. It's really, really cool. This is Marvel's Superhero Secret Wars, the coloring book. Now, I don't collect coloring books. I don't really collect a lot of stuff other than comics. I really just keep it to comics. This one I might end up keeping. I just because I'm such a huge fan of the original Secret Wars run and a lot of that mid 80s stuff. And this is really cool. The thing I love about it is this was like a totally unused, unopened version. Everything is uncolored. You know, it's not
very cool, man.
Hasn't been colored, untouched. Not only that, but the end of the book has a poster that is still here. So that unfolds to be this whole poster of a lot of the major Marvel characters from that time. Looks like a Zach cover.
It did
or Zach
like
poster. Yeah, it is. It's and I see his name. It's Zach and Beatty doing the poster. So very cool. This might be a keeper. This might go in my magazine box because I do have some magazine type stuff, magazine size stuff, mostly like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which were originally printed magazine size. Yeah, this one might be a keeper for me. I'm
I
not
love
sure.
that, man. That is a great. That's so like different from what you normally share too. I really dig
Yeah,
that.
it's unique. It's definitely unique.
And by the way, I'm just reading all these the messages, or the people, the chat here during Josh's story. Jordan Nori sent books to CGC, and they came back during this story. That is the comment of the night, no doubt about that. All right, moving on. Next up, who do we have? We got Raw Dog Comics. Haven't seen the submission from Raw Dog in quite a while. Very happy to see that. And where is it, Joe? Where'd you put it? Oh, there it is right there.
I didn't put it anywhere.
Space Ghost! I need a little reverb. Number one, when I heard Dynamite was coming out with the Space Ghost series, I almost lost my mind. I couldn't believe they were going to bring back one of my most favorite childhood animated series. I was so psyched that I picked up the Ashcan edition and anxiously waited for number one to come out. I was amazed with this Matina cover. Matina cover A. The artwork inside is exceptional as well. Johnny Quest is coming up next to be released soon. Thank you, Comic Book Canon, for letting me share this awesome grab with you guys. This is the best comic book community around. I love you guys, and remember to collect what you love fresh from the comic shop. Oh, that was the hashtag. Peace out all. That's a great submission, Joe, for a lot of reasons right there.
Yeah, and I actually just I picked up a collection this week that had some Space Ghost comics in it.
Very cool. Obviously, you're talking about the older.
No, it actually had the new one, the one that just
Dynamite,
came out.
really?
Yeah. This was someone who just wanted to get rid of some stuff real quick that they didn't feel like they needed.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. Dynamite's doing some cool things, wouldn't you say?
Dynamite is doing some cool things. Shout out Dynamite Domsky.
Dynamite Domsky. Alex, you're good people. You are good people. All right. I'm up first. It was my birthday this past Friday. Thanks a lot, Joe, for the call.
I did call you on Friday. You didn't answer.
Yeah, you're right. I took a red eye back from work, California. I was in California for work. Why did my comic book? Anyways, whatever. So Alicia, my fiance, my lovely fiance, really wanted to go with a comic book theme. And I love the effort she made here because she just walked in the store and just got some cool covers from new books, and I'm very proud and happy to share them. This is Amazing Spider-Man Blood Hunt number 2 of 3. This cover is amazing. You got Spider-Man, Misty Knight, and the Lizard. So just sharing that right there. I haven't read any of the Blood Hunt yet. I'm going to read it on my Marvel app, but I'm excited for this. I was so happy to see this because she knows my love of Spider-Man as well. I love that woman. I do. I'm not sure if she's still watching. She may be sleeping, but anyways, that pulls at the heartstrings right there, doesn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it depends on who you're talking to.
Oh, great. All right. You just didn't get along with her today. You guys got into some sort of a fight about Pachysandras, I think.
It was a scuffle, yeah. It
was a scuffle. Moving on, we got Nori Jordan. Nori Jordan, you are not eligible. No, you're not eligible because you're moving on to the finals, but you still sent this wonderful submission in. This week, I figured I would show something that is not Thunderbolts related. Most of my collecting follows a theme, but I do enjoy other titles. I kept hearing that Ultimate Spider-Man was a great series, but I have been so busy, I didn't want to start anything new. Then I saw the series introduce a Bullseye character, and I changed my mind. So far, this series has been great and has not disappointed. I told myself I didn't care if I had a first print of the first issue, but that changed when I found a copy for $40. The price seemed reasonable, so I figured, why not? Take care, everyone. Here's the thing with Nori Jordan. He loves his Thunderbolts, but he also loves Bullseye. So, like, it is kind of along the same thing, but I love how he is branching out. So, very happy to see that. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week.
My second fresh get of the week. This, I'm cheating here a little bit because this wasn't exactly a fresh get. This was a collection I bought. This is part of the Hoarder House collection that I bought last year, the end of last year, that I'm still going through. It was a lot of comic books and everything needed a new bag and board. So it's been a slow process, and a lot of other collections have piled up on top of this one. So I was going through a box just yesterday and I found this book, and I pulled it out and I was like, this is what I think it is. This looks like a John Romita cover, and I was correct about that. This is Heartthrobs number 93 from 19 64, 65, mid 60s. Silver Age romance comics. Not one of the things that a lot of people collect. But this is a really beautiful John Romita cover. It's got a pink background. I think that this thing looks sharp, probably like in the 6 or 7 range. And I looked up online, and there was actually a couple copies that sold recently that were like kind of a 4.0, 4.5 condition wise, that sold for over $100. So this thing is, I'm probably going to get this one graded. I might end up keeping it. I don't particularly collect romance, but I do love John Romita. So this might be a Romita collection book, not necessarily a romance collection book. But yeah, very, very cool cover.
I love the fact that you like that. I would never have figured that would be a Romita cover. Like, and for you to be able to see that, it's amazing how, like, you hear, like me being a drummer, you hear Bonham, he's got a specific sound. Alex Van Halen has a specific sound. Like for me, John Byrne, I'd be able to pick out, but I don't even think I'd pick out a romance book that John Byrne would do. Like, look
at, see how the eyelashes and eyebrows are done in like a very, very accurate way. Just they're very detailed eyelashes, very detailed eyebrows, all the way down to like the point on that eyebrow right there that's like shaded right on the end where the hair would be thinner. That is what kind of gave it away that I thought it was a Romita cover, and I looked it up, and sure enough, it was.
And to be fair, that's not John Romita.
Oh, no. This is John Romita. John Romita Jr.
Yes.
John Romita Jr. would have been like 3 years old and this came out.
Yeah, no.
He's only like 60 right now.
That's a great get. All right, moving on. We have Danny and Tessa. Hey, comic book community, make some noise if you're ready for Deadpool and Wolverine. I got these 2 issues of X-Men 211 and 222 from the man himself, Joe, over at 360 Comics. Thanks, as always, Joe, for the great business. You are an absolute legend, and keep doing what you're doing to help make this community great. I don't like complimenting you, Joe, but it's true. Admittedly, outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm not a huge X-Men fan, but I've been trying my luck to find interest in other titles. As a lot of people know, I'm mostly a Spider-Man guy, but Wolverine is a character that I've loved since I was a young child. I grew up with a very basic childhood. I love superheroes, and my sister loved Hannah Montana. My parents had the best of both worlds. See what I did there? With the submission to Fresh from the Comic Shop. I've also tried to experiment a little with my collectibles. I've had this Deadpool hat for quite a while now, while the Wolverine Funko Pop I recently bought on a trip to Walmart. It all looks amazing in this shot, if I do say so myself. Moral of the story is this: don't be afraid to try new things. Experience as many things in your life as you can before it's too late. Experience love, experience frustration, experience peace, and most importantly, in my Ryan Reynolds impression, go grab your brown pants and experience Deadpool and Wolverine in IMAX on July 26th. Is that good?
That was actually pretty good. Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
That was the best impression that I've ever heard you do. Mostly because most of them are really, really bad.
Well, here's the deal. I kid you not. I'll take this. By the way, that's a great submission, Danny and Tessa. Love that submission. So I was on a shoot, maybe it was last year, and the crew there was remote. I didn't know them that well. They're like, you remind us of somebody. And I'm like, who? They're like, an actor. I don't know. The guy that plays Deadpool. I'm like, Ryan Reynolds, I remind you of? Of course I do. Everybody says that to me. So yeah, I got the Ryan Reynolds comparison.
No one
Jelly Joe, little jelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I started shaving my head, people said that I looked like I didn't have the beard yet. I just kind of had like a little bit of shadow, and I was starting shaving my head, and I don't think I was wearing glasses at the time, but people were like, "You look like scrawny Vin Diesel," and I didn't know what to think about that because scrawny Vin Diesel is just a bald guy.
I've gotten Vin Diesel, and I'm not happy when people tell me I get. I'm just absolutely not.
Yeah.
Not at all. All right, moving on. We got Raising Elm. Look at this. I mean, come on. Are you excited for Deadpool and Wolverine? Raising Elm. Howdy, comic fan. My copy of Wolverine issue #1 is finally back home, and guess what? It was signed by the legend himself, Hugh Jackman. I sent this book to CGC back in December of 2022. It's finally home after a year and a half of waiting. I was clawing at the walls waiting on this book, and I may have drove my wife a bit nuts constantly talking about it too. I am so stoked to have this back in the PC, and my wife can't wait to see Deadpool and Wolverine next weekend while wearing our BFF bracelets, of course. Should I send it back to CGC and try to get a 9.8? Nope, it ain't leaving my site. Much love, comic fam. P.S. I passed my exam for the Core 1 Comp. TIA, it's basically an IT test, and we are very happy that happened, by the way. Congratulations on that. With a score of 709. Thank you to my beautiful white friends and work colleagues who supported me. On to Core 2. Let's LFG, you know what that means? I've been good. I haven't scored that much on the show. That is a really great submission yet again. Take notes if you haven't submitted before, because this is this is what we look for. Anyways, I'm gonna go with my second fresh get of the week. Going along with the Spider-Man theme. My fiance got me Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 21. This is another Blood Hunt tie-in. Got a little blade in the reflection of Miles's mask right there. I love that. It's another great cover. So yeah, she's picking up cool covers for me. I do pick up cool covers for her. She says she likes Wonder Woman, so the artwork in here looks great. I haven't read recent. Anyways, I love it. I'm very excited to dig into that. All right, Joseph, moving on. We got Mike Haggs. Here we go. I had the privilege to meet Ken Lashley at my local comic shop. Shout out to them for always having great artists in there. Great guy to chop it up with about comics and anime. I had the privilege of watching him sketch Darth Vader and a few other amazing covers. You all know I love my foil covers, so I had to scoop this up. I should have brought my Venom foil, but I'm thrilled with this one. That is such a cool Ahsoka cover right there. Really, really cool. Well done there. Mike Haggs, you are not eligible because you are our first winner of the year. Kaboom Comics. What do you got? What do you got? You are not eligible either, but love that you're still submitting. Love that he's got the branded hashtag FFTCS. Thank you for that. Just got this Tales of Suspense featuring Iron Man and Captain America, number 84, versus the Super Adaptoid. This is my first ever Tales of Suspense book I've gotten for my PC. Can't wait to get more. Iron Man and Captain America are some of my top superheroes. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. See you guys at Comic-Con for my event. Lots of giveaways coming soon, thanks to Kaboom. Thanks to Comic Book Canon. Thanks, Comic Book Community, for all the awesome support all these years. Kaboom, and I do believe Super Crispy live in the San Diego area. Follow Kaboom Comics. He does have something going on there. He invited us, Joe. I didn't tell you about it because I didn't. If I were going to go, I didn't want you going.
No, he told us about it on Canon. I think it was last week when you weren't here. So you're the loser.
I thought I had the exclusive invite. Next up, we got Nukes Comics. Look at this one. Yo, and he mashed it up with MF Doom as well with the music.
Love it. Love it.
So dope. Oh, God, I loved it. First from the comic shop, Doom number 1. This one shot masterfully recounts the epic battle between Dr. Doom and Galactus and Earth's mightiest heroes and villains. Frantic art and compelling storytelling throughout. Includes an homage to MF Doom. I picked this up from DBS. Great stuff indeed. Yeah, very cool cover. MF Doom does not get the props that he deserves. Posthumously. Is that how you pronounce that?
Posthumously?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's posthumously.
Spud Comics. Oh, God, I don't want to remember that again. Alexis. Spud Comics. We just learned a lot about Spud Comics. Claymont, Delaware, reporting live from Canton region. While comics have been a very big part of my life, my first love will forever be Pokemon. It has been a constant in my life. When visiting my dad and seeing my cousins, we had a language barrier for a bit as kids, with them being full Mexican and me only a half hour. Only half our parents would put Pokemon for us, and we would pick our favorites to pretend we had. These times still hold some of my favorite memories. As we get older, they taught me to play the games, both card and video, and it was the most fun I could possibly have had. I miss them every day, but when I add things to my collection, and especially when it was their favorite characters as kids, it makes me remember them and feel closer to them. Fast forward to a few years ago, me and my partner got together, and turns out they collected vintage cards from their childhood. So they have supported me through and through. With that being said, finding a sealed, complete set of the Pokemon comics was an absolute adrenaline rush for both of us, and I was able to pick up a single issue from Joe. of 360 Comics, and I fully cried. My joy couldn't be expressed. Please enjoy my submission for Fresh from the Comic Shop. Thank you for sending that in, Alexia. Very well received. Joe, that's a nice gathering of collectibles right there.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I don't know if, in my memory, I don't think we've had a Pokemon comic on Fresh from the Comic Shop yet. That's a big franchise.
That's a no. Yeah.
I'm surprised.
So, Spud, aka Alexia, you are continuing to contribute to this community, and we appreciate you for it. Joseph, your last fresh get of the week. What do you have?
Yeah, you did some Spider-Man. I did some Spider-Man. I think, I'm not telling anyone what to buy. I think this book is massively underrated to the point where I have a raw copy, like a lower grade 4.0 raw copy that's like my reader. I have a 9.0 graded one, and I still picked up this 7.5 graded one because I think, like I said, this book is underrated. Probably the most underrated Silver Age ASM book. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 46. It is the first appearance of the Shocker. Nice 7.5 grade on that one. This character, maybe it's because I grew up in the 90s and he was on the animated series that I really have this character in my memory, so locked in. But yeah, like all those Silver Age appearances, like everyone knows, like ASM 50 is a huge key. ASM 14, even the Prowler is getting a lot of love now that the Prowler in the Miles universe has become more prominent. But yeah, Shocker is a big character who's shown up for forever. Was even in one of the most recent movies, at least a version of that character, and I feel like he doesn't get the love. So I love that book.
Amazing cover, like that cover, is freaking great. Speaking of,
Romita, yeah. And that's John Romita. Well, I actually had 2 John Romita Senior covers. That's funny.
Did.
Can't really beat that. John Romita, Stanley on the writing on that book, and despite me already having 2 copies, that one's still staying in the PC for now.
Really, I love that submission too. Damn, Joe, you're doing all right. All right, and finally we have Slick Jolly. I just burped. What started as a joke when I was a manager at my company has developed into being a collector of all things Thanos. The Funko was given to me as a gift by my team, and I displayed it on my desk for meetings along with a poster behind my desk for full effect. Then later at a Philly Fan Expo, I met Mark Morales, who did this amazing commission for me that he later used to make prints. Most recently, at the First State Comic-Con, I picked up this truly awesome negative space variant by John Tyler Christopher and the classic George Perez cover. It all just goes so well together. I love this submission for a lot of reasons. I think it hits a lot of points. So well done there, Slick Jolly. Well done. I really dig that for sure.
I love that. And I love that I love when inside jokes like turn into bigger things. Like no joke, my best friend Derek, I've been friends with him since 2nd grade, and we still have we have 25 years at this point of inside jokes that we have built up, and sometimes we'll just be sitting there and one of us will just say something and anyone else in the room would be like, what? That's so random, and I'll say it and he'll burst out laughing or vice versa. So yeah, love that.
That is the best. That's how you know you've connected with somebody. And again, like being able to do this at work is like right. I can never see my dad ever having a situation like this where you know what I mean? I think times have changed drastically when it allows us to do that. All right.
By the way, I do want to say something. Slick Jolly, just so you can connect this, is Brian Klotz in the chat.
Oh, I think I knew that. Also,
okay.
First Day Comics is probably Delaware.
First Day Comic-Con is Delaware. Josh, Slick Jolly, myself, Lexi, Popa Chili Town, we were all down there last week.
Yeah. Well, anyways, stop humble bragging. Moving. I'm sorry. My final fresh get of the week, again, from my wonderful fiance. This means a lot to me. Stan Lee really had an impact on my youth as many others, I'm sure. Like the morals you learn from reading comic books, Great power comes great responsibility. Those types of things. The duality of personalities in the Hulk. Just being the best person you could be, even if it goes against the grain. Captain America. It just means a lot to me. So anything Stan Lee, it really, I love it. So she got me this amazing Stan Lee statue.
Oh man, that is. I'm not a toy guy. I'm not a statue guy. I'm not a pop guy or a bobblehead guy or anything like that.
Yeah.
But man, that is freaking cool. I love it.
He looks badass too there, by the way.
Why does he have like a grumpy cat with him?
He's holding Grumpy Cat. I don't understand the connection, but she knew I love Stan Lee, so she got it. So
That's hilarious.
She's got a full cup of Joe right there. So she walked into Midtown Comics in Manhattan and just did her thing. Just got a bunch of stuff. So I'm very happy, and it's gonna sit here where it belongs. So anyways, look, you guys call to action, be like, yo, I don't understand why we're getting like 3 submissions a week here for Fresh from the Comic Shop, because I guess you guys don't like winning amazing things. And you guys turned some things around here, because we got, not only did we get more submissions, we got some great submissions, and this is a problem.
It is, because it is 9:54 already, and I'm getting sleepy, and we have to pick a winner still. So let's talk. There are definitely some contenders.
Well, before we talk, the Honorable De La Torre needs to come in and make sure the proceedings are all.
Bring him in.
Gentlemen, court is in session, and my wife is in the next room not feeling well, so I'm going to be very quiet in this next segment here, including the gavel will be very, very muted. So please present your case quietly.
We shall, Your Honor. We shall. My God. Okay, so Joe, I mean, we kicked it off with a strong one with Josh's comics.
I was gonna say that for sure. Great use of not just the comic, but also the toy that he just picked up today
and the story. But not the story, the
story.
preamble. God, that could actually go against him. Am I correct?
Right,
Honorable
De La Torre.
Yes, it can.
that checks 2 of the boxes for sure.
And thank you to Bottom here in the chat for showing great respect for this court.
Oh wow! What did he say?
All rise.
Oh shoot! Sorry, buddy. We pay you. Stop it. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. This is awful. Right. Moving on. All right. So, Joe, what's another one you want to point out?
Oh yeah, we spoke about Lexi's Pokemon one.
Mm-hmm.
Bud Comics with it was unique for sure. You know, we like we said, this is probably the first time any Pokemon book has been on. Great setup here with other Pokemon collectibles, and also checks the box of a great story. You know, kind of the shared love between 2 different hobbies, and you know where those 2 hobbies overlap on their Venn diagram. Pokemon comics.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go Danny and Tessa too.
Oh, Danny and Tessa was a cool one. Everyone's excited for this movie. We got Logan in the background. Oh, man, we got a hard choice this week. Dude.
I have one more. You may have more too, but
I have one more as well. What's yours?
Slick Jolly.
Yep. Love the background here. Love the story behind this. I love the fact that this is an inside joke that is turned into a section of the hobby for him, a section of collecting. One of the aspects is this little inside joke that he has. Great story, very cool books, of course, and definitely an awesome setup here.
Yeah, so those are 4 right there. We said Josh's comics, we said Danny and Tessa, we said Spud Comics, and Slick Jolly.
Yeah, and man, this is tough. It's funny that 3 of these people live in Delaware.
No,
Slick Jolly's. I think Slick Jolly's down in Delaware too.
Yeah, I had nothing to do. Obviously, I don't know if I should recuse myself. But I am leaning one way, and I'm not sure, Joe, if you are.
I am.
It's tough. This is a tough one. This is the toughest it's been.
It's a really tough one, but I mentioned this when we were going through them, that I believe one of them checks all 3 boxes really well.
Yeah, me too.
Are you talking Spud Comics here?
I am talking Spud Comics.
this checks all the boxes. It is such a unique book that we've never seen a Pokemon book on here before. It is such a great setup. Like, you can't go wrong with this. Not only is this a really cool setup as far as the things that are around the comics, but then we also have a Pokemon background behind all of that. Very cool. And then
the story,
the love of collecting, one thing, collecting another thing, and the like I said, the Venn diagram, the overlap there. And we had Spud Comics doing a popcorn today, so we got a really nice view of some more Pokemon stuff. So I think it just all comes together really nicely.
For sure. We got to bring the judges in to make it official. So, Your Honor, both Joe and we would like to move forward with Spud Comics to be in the semifinals this week.
I'm in agreement. I mean, Josh had a fantastic picture rather. That's dynamite. That's just dynamite. But Spuds is a little bit better. It's a little more picture perfect. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. The story was dynamite. As you guys said, it covers all the bases. Let's go with Spuds. That is my final verdict, and we'll see if we can do this quietly. Okay, good. Okay, we're done.
Congratulations, Alexia, aka Spuds Comics. You are moving on to the semifinals. We will have that on Wednesday. That vote will be on our Instagram on Wednesday. The story, so be on the lookout for that. Well done there, and it was amazing learning about you. Broke Boy Comics, you are next up on deck when it comes to the popcorn, so be on the lookout for that. I think we'll tag Broke Boy tomorrow in posting Alexia's submission. Joe, I don't know. It's just a great show. I know I was missed profusely last week. I know you guys cried a bit. I made a quick hello, but let's bring the boys in.
Bring them back in. Jeff, I think last week things went really smoothly. We're just inside the bubble of ending in 2 hours this time, so you did okay. You pulled us together at the end here. I'm proud of you for that. But last week we did start at 8:00 on the dot, and we did end at about 9:45. So I just want to kind of point that out that was the week that you weren't here.
Is it fair to say we did not have a story that just rambled and went nowhere?
You're telling me Mike's story was longer than Mike's story doing the Jaws segment?
Mike's story had a cool Captain Ahab accent.
Yeah, that's right.
Yours had something. I don't know what that was, Josh.
It's my gladiator. That's my godfather.
Gladiator.
God, you are so full of yourself. He's become so full of himself since he's become the editor of news on Comic Book Canada.
Real quick, I just want to make an announcement. I'm withdrawing from Fresh from the Comic Book Shop from now on. Well, not that. Hold on, let's listen. When I mean withdrawing, I'm still going to submit. But I kind of realized, I talked with Joe last week, I'm still going to submit. I think because I'm part of the crew now, I think, you know what I mean? Maybe I just shouldn't be able to win.
He's recusing himself. And I think that's totally fair. I was fine with it, but I think it's totally fair. Josh, then maybe we can bring you in from time to time to weigh in if we need you.
I still submit. I think what I'm going to do is, that way every week I don't have to submit, but I'm still going to submit from time to time. But that way, you know what? I'm part of you guys now, and since you guys can't win, there's no point of allowing one member of the crew member to win. So if you guys are okay with that, I would like to go forward and do that, and
cool.
Keep it more open for everybody else to have a higher chance of winning.
Also, Josh and I can also do one submission a week. That would be our submission without being qualified. I think Josh is onto something. I agree with his logic.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love to see that. Everybody contributes to the show, including, most importantly, the audience. It's a pleasure to be here every Sunday night with you all. We have Dan that wants to say something right now. You see,
just real quick before I will be representing the Comic Book Canon and Journos at the San Diego Comic-Con this week. So I'll be there Thursday, Friday. I'm not going to be in Hall H on Saturday, Sunday, but I will be my first, maybe my only time at the San Diego Comic-Con. It's a big deal, and it's a huge honor. I was asked to be on a panel to speak, and so I'll be doing that. But I will be mentioning the canon and talking to who knows, what's going to happen. So anyway, just want to throw that out. So it's a big deal for
That'll
me.
be fun. Try and connect with Kaboom Comics if you can. Maybe
Right.
Kaboom may
Right.
have some events going on you may want to check out. So that sounds like it's going to be a blast for you. Oh, look at this. Come have lunch with It's On Me. Go to the most
love it.
expensive place and
Uh-oh.
find the most
Wow.
expensive place and make sure you get the most expensive items too.
I see myself at the nearest hot dog stand.
There you
And
go.
bottom tier just mentioned Chris. We just mentioned Chris and stuff. Chris reached out this week. We keep in touch. We're he's got a lot going on, but we chat, and he's currently on a family trip and having a ball with it. I saw some pictures and stuff, so he's having a good
so
time.
happy. He posted a picture up, man.
Yeah.
He's doing great, guys.
He looks great.
He's doing great. He says he may stumble into a show or two in the near future. So be on the lookout. Send him some messages. Again, he's doing so much better right now, and we're very happy. You hear it in his voice, by the way.
Yeah.
So very happy to hear that. All right, everybody. So next week is San Diego Comic-Con. Joe, myself, Josh, and the Honorable De La Torre, although he'll be busy with commitments, and Josh is going to be busy on site at Hall H right next to Feige, even moderating a few panels.
I might even have a one-on-one with Kevin. Maybe I'll get him to pop up on the show.
Okay, that'd be delightful. But let's keep we got to figure out a Comic-Con special maybe for next week. So but until then, please everybody continue to submit those fresh comics, fresh FFTC yeses. That's what I wanted to say. Continue being great to each other. This community is so awesome. This is what you guys are, the fuel that power this show. So I'm going to leave the final words to Joseph.
Final words.
Until then, everybody, be good to yourselves and be good to others. Peace.